Good evening. I'm Kelda Yoon. Well, it's pretty much official. More than 9,000 LCBO workers will be walking off the job tomorrow. We are still about an hour away from that midnight strike deadline, but union leaders said talks with the Crown Corporation have broken down and they are moving ahead with a walkout. Tyler Cheese is live for us tonight outside a LCBO store in the city's Liberty Village. And Tyler, a strike would be historic.
Yeah, Kelda, if a strike does happen, and it really looks like it's going to, it will be the first in the 97-year history of the LCBO. Now, at the heart of the issue is the government's plan to expand some alcohol sales to grocery stores and convenience stores. But first, what does it all mean for consumers?
It's really frustrating, especially going to cottage season, so definitely have to stock up.
I was told to come by and pick up the essentials for the weekend because we don't know how long it's going to be, and summertime without LCBO is just challenging.
The union representing more than 9,000 LCBO workers says Ford's dry summer has begun.
The premier is the sticking point. His forced expansion, his sped up expansion that will cost at least $1 billion to Ontarians, is the sticking point on this issue. How he does it is up to him.
With the planned expansion of alcohol sales to include private retailers, the union is concerned the province itself will lose out on important earnings.
We're talking about $2.5 billion in revenue that would disappear from public health care and education and go into private corporations. We're not talking about mom and pop shops. We're talking about Costco, Loblaws, giant grocery chains, giant convenience store chains.
In response, the finance minister's office released a statement writing, "We are more committed than ever to fulfilling our promise of choice and convenience by expanding access to beer, cider, wine, and ready-to-drink beverages in convenience, grocery, and big-box stores starting later this summer. We urge OPSEU to return to the negotiating table and work towards a deal that prioritizes Ontario consumers and producers." Now, if you're worried what this all means for the restaurant industry,
it is not going to be a dry summer with restaurants. I do know they're stocked up, and I do know there's other channels of ensuring that they stock up on products, local products, but also the LCBO has a contingency plan in effect that will continue to supply the beverage that is needed to have a great experience in a restaurant. Although, let's be honest about it, business is not going to be as usual.
Once the strike begins, all LCBO stores across the province will close for 14 days. After that, according to the official contingency plan, if the strike continues, 32 stores will reopen Friday through Sunday with limited hours. The corporation also says online ordering with free home delivery will remain available throughout.
Now, something that's really interesting here is the union says they haven't even started talking about wages or benefits or job security. Instead, they've really been focused on these ready-made cocktails. So they're saying they're okay with wine and beer being sold outside the LCBO, but they want things like seltzers and coolers to remain in-house. Now, where things go from here, both sides say they're both ready to come back to the bargaining table, but for right now, it seems they're still pretty far apart.
All right, thanks so much for this, Tyler. Our Tyler Cheese live for us tonight. While LCBO stores will close given a strike, there are still plenty of places to purchase alcohol. LCBO says there are approximately 2,300 private retail options across the province, including grocery stores, breweries, and distilleries, as well as bars and restaurants. As Dale Manuktuk reports, they're getting ready for what could be an uncertain time.
It's business as usual at the only distillery in Toronto's historic Distillery District, fully stocked with its locally made whiskey, gin, and vodka, which can also be found on LCBO shelves. So for them, a potential strike is a bottle half full or half empty type of situation.
Obviously, we would like them to be open and getting product out as much as possible. That being said, if they're not, we are open. We're 7 days a week. We sell online. We have a few delivery services. Our bottle shop here is open. We cocktails and tasting. So it could be an interesting opportunity for people to try something local.
That could be a restaurant or bar. Restaurants Canada is advising its members to stock up, even though they can still order wholesale from the LCBO. But they're looking for more buying options.
We've been talking to LCBO and to the Government of Ontario about the difficult spot that our members are in. Even coming out of COVID, we still see that about 50% of our members are struggling just to break even. So we have been talking to the government about the importance of having their support.
Meanwhile, Wine Rack has been preparing for weeks, forecasting a boom in demand.
All of our stores have ordered additional inventory of all the top selling products and brands that we offer at Wine Rack, and also looking at top selling brands and products at LCBO. And we've loaded up those products in both our stores and then our distribution centers.
Wine Rack is developing promotions on third-party delivery apps and is also preparing to extend hours at some of its locations. Dale Manukduk, CBC News, Toronto.
New tonight, CBC News has learned the Ford government will not bring in a deposit and return system for non-alcoholic drink containers such as pop cans and bottled water. Ontario was considering such a system, similar to what the province has in place for beer cans, wine and liquor bottles, to try to boost the recycling rates of drink containers. But a senior government official told CBC News that's no longer under consideration because the cost would be too high. Instead, the province will continue recycling through Ontario's Blue Box system. Environmental advocates have been calling for a deposit return system for non-alcoholic beverages because less than half of the containers sold in the province are recycled. That is the lowest rate in Canada. A woman is dead and 2 other people injured after a 2-vehicle crash involving an impaired driver on the Gardiner Expressway. It happened on the eastbound lanes near the Jameson Avenue exit just after 2 a.m. A 40-year-old woman was taken to hospital in life-threatening condition where she succumbed to her injuries. Another woman in her 20s suffered serious injuries, and an infant was taken to Sick Kids with minor injuries. Toronto police say the driver of the other vehicle fled the scene but was later arrested. A 48-year-old man from Whitby is facing numerous charges, including impaired driving causing death. A veteran officer with the Toronto Police Drug Squad is facing multiple charges tonight after he allegedly tried to evade police during a traffic stop in Mississauga. Peel police say they initially received a call about an impaired driver in the area of Courtney Park Drive and Hurontario Street just before 3 a.m. on Wednesday. Officers attempted to stop it, and several Peel police cruisers were damaged in the process. 2 officers were taken to hospital with minor injuries. 37-year-old Brian Sukram of Brampton was eventually arrested. He's been charged with impaired driving, possession of methamphetamines and cocaine for the purposes of trafficking, along with other charges. Toronto police confirmed Sukram has been suspended with pay. Meanwhile, York police are asking for the public's help in finding a suspect after several dump trucks were intentionally set on fire in Vaughan on Canada Day. Greg Ross has those details.
On a night that many were lighting off fireworks, this unidentified man was captured on security cameras lighting up dump trucks.
This male is carrying some sort of container that appears to carry a flammable liquid. You can see the male pour it on and around the ground and the trucks that are parked in this lot before igniting it.
One by one, the man walks up to the trucks and sets them ablaze. In all, 6 trucks were damaged in the fires. It happened at a maintenance facility for a company called GFL Environmental. Their website says they offer services in solid waste management, liquid waste management, and soil remediation.
It does appear to be a very targeted incident. The fact you'd be going to a parking lot that's in a fairly isolated area and targeting very specific vehicles there does make it look like this is planned out ahead of time.
Police say there was nobody in the facility at the time and no injuries were reported. This was the second arson at a GFL location in less than a week. There was a very similar incident at a waste collection facility operated by GFL in Windsor. There were also 6 trucks damaged by fire there. York Regional Police are not prepared to say that the 2 are connected.
Obviously, our investigators always keep an open mind and want to link things together, but at this time we're treating this as an isolated incident.
Just one of the trucks was left in the parking lot today, its front end completely burned out. We reached out to the GFL head office for comment and have not heard back from them. Police are appealing to the public for help in identifying the man responsible for causing this damage.
Someone always knows what's going on, and we're appealing to anyone that might have any information.
Anyone who may have dashcam footage from the area of Highway 27 and Highway 407 at around 11:50 on Monday night is asked to contact police. Greg Ross, CBC News, Vaughan.
Disability advocates rallied in Toronto today to bring awareness to the new disability benefit that they say falls short of helping most Canadians who need it.
We were always happy to see something started, right? Because at least it's an opening that we can say, navigate, say it's a great benefit, but it's not paying enough, and advocate to get more money, and then also advocating for the fact that more people need to get this benefit. So we want to see it being more accessible to more people.
Advocates say the disability benefit isn't accessible enough because recipients need to acquire the disability tax credit. They say that is something most Canadians with disabilities don't have due to the lack of access to medical professionals to sign off on the program. The federal government has not responded to CBC Toronto's request for comment, but the Ministry of Employment and Social Development has recently started to accept feedback on the regulations of the benefit. Welcome back. Hurricane Beryl is now churning across the Caribbean toward Mexico as a Category 3 storm. Both the Cayman Islands and Jamaica avoided a direct hit from the storm, which skirted along the southern coast. Beryl brushed past the Caymans earlier today with winds topping 200 kilometers per hour and dropping more than 100 millimeters of rain in some areas. The storm arrived in Jamaica last night as a Category 4 hurricane. It uprooted trees, knocked down signs, and tore the roofs off homes, but there are no reports of deaths. Preparations for the storm are well underway along the east coast of Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. Beryl is expected to arrive there early Friday. Global Medic is a local humanitarian aid organization that helps to provide relief in disaster zones around the world. Its executive director, Rahul Singh, spoke to Dwight Drummond about their ongoing efforts to help people in the areas most impacted by the storm.
People need access to clean drinking water. They need their roofs back on their homes. They need access to some food. We also have to get better intelligence of just how much damage there is and where it is. And in addition to that, we're also going to need some water purification units into those shelters. So where you've got heavy populated areas and they're living in shelters, no access to clean water, we're going to have to solve that problem as well.
And I know you're talking to people in the region. What are you hearing, say, from Jamaica now as Beryl passes them?
Yeah, like Jamaica's information is just starting to come online now. And, there's a lot of power outages. So a lot of people are trying to get into the ministry where they have generators to reach out to the outside world. Mm-hmm. We're trying to put some aid in. We're lucky our friends at Air Canada are upgauging an aircraft tomorrow, which means we can probably get a lot more aid in. We want to take advantage of that. It's going to be all the basics, right? Family emergency kits with a point-of-use water purification unit, solar light, hygiene items. We're also going to put in emergency food kits, rice and peas and beans, all the stuff people like to eat in a sealed bucket. That bucket can be used to scoop water to put into the water unit. So all those basics we want to get into Jamaica. Now, at the same time, we're going to touch aid down into Grenada to go over into Carriacou, and then into St. Vincent, to their capital, to go into Union Island. Now, those are going to be a lot harder, Dwight, because you got to land on a different island, with not such a big plane, right? Not the little planes in the Caribbean, but not big planes. Then you got to clear it, unpack it, either get it on a boat or a helicopter or a small plane, unload it, find a local truck with fuel, get into the neighborhood and get aid out. So it's not going to be as easy as coming down a big 400 series highway with lots of trucks and lots of aid. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, and we're looking at some of the footage from that area now. We heard that Grenada and St. Vincent, they got hit, but not as bad as their sister islands of Carriacou and then the Union Island. Those two, we're here just devastated. Maybe 90% of the homes damaged on those places.
Yeah, our intel's hearing it's like 98% on one of those islands, which is look, 90 is really bad, 98 is worse, but the access is going to be tough, right?
Yeah.
Think back to Dorian a few years ago, when it was Abaco and all these other areas.
It's difficult to get to. Yeah, we had to take a ferry from Grenada to Carriacou, so we know it's going to be difficult trying to get the aid that's needed there. Lots of people, in the GTA trace their heritage to the Caribbean. Many of us vacation there. Well, what can we do to help the situation?
Now, listen, there's three great ways that Torontonians and people in the GTA can help. So one is give us a donation. We'll literally turn that donation into this type of aid and get it into the hands of people. So we were going to get the right aid out to the right people. Second, if you've got some time and you can volunteer and you want to come out and help us pack aid, you help us actually lower costs, right? So we can get aid more out. And then third, if you share our messaging and what we're doing on your social networks, right, then maybe your friends may have a donation to give or time to give as well. And that helps get the word out. Those are the three best things we can do for the Caribbean right now.
Earl Singh is the Executive Director of Global Medic, one of the GTA organizations sending aid in the wake of Hurricane Beryl. Thank you for your time and your efforts, Earl. We appreciate it.
Take care.
The growing use of medications known as GLP-1 drugs, such as Ozempic, has the food industry taking notice. The drugs, prescribed to help control diabetes, can also help to control obesity and have become popular weight loss aids. And that means millions of people aren't buying as much snack food as they used to. Nisha Patel has more.
Medium cappuccino with skim milk, please.
Since she started taking Ozempic, Reagan Sather has lost her taste for treats.
My desire for food completely changed, and it also impacted how much I could eat.
That smaller appetite has changed how she shops for groceries.
Really focusing on fresh meat, fresh produce. It completely eliminated any snacking.
Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro are used to manage diabetes and obesity. In Canada, more than 1 million patients are taking these drugs. In the U.S., it may be as many as 15 million.
This is resulting in an overall decrease in food consumption, which is a change in terms of some of the diets that have come in the past.
Walmart says it's already seeing people who use weight loss drugs spend less on groceries.
If shoppers buy fewer salty snacks and sugary drinks, that could slim down profits. So big food companies are paying close attention and trying to adapt.
Coca-Cola is doubling down on high-protein milk and sparkling waters. Danone will boost investment in yogurts and nutritional drinks. Nestle plans to launch a line of portion-controlled frozen food. Dietitian Abby Langer says patients do need to watch what they eat.
What ends up happening often is that you miss out on nutrients that are really important, like protein and fiber.
But while new packaged options may be fast and convenient,
I think there's going to be a lot of criticism of those Ozempic ready meals, just because people are going to be saying, well, ultra-processed food got a lot of people where they're at now.
For people taking weight loss drugs,
it's still just a tool, and you still have to make the right decisions in order for it to work properly.
What they choose to put in their shopping cart has likely changed for good. Nisha Patel, CBC News, Toronto.
Let's go to Riley Lachuk now with a look at the forecast. And Riley, hot and muggy again out there today.
Well, thanks, Kelda. I thought I'd start with a look at where we got to today because, yeah, it was another hot and humid one really across southern Ontario. Look at some of these readings here. 28 today in Windsor. Did hold the temperature back a bit because we did see a few showers rolling through late afternoon. Sarnia, just a little up the road, 30 degrees, and we did see temperatures really right around 29, 30 degrees, really right across southern Ontario. Bit warmer in the Niagara region today as well. We did see a couple of 30s as well this afternoon. Carbon copy is what I'm calling it as we look into the day on Friday. As we get through the overnight period tonight, at least, we're looking at a mainly clear sky, mostly sunny to start the morning. I know this particular model depicting the potential, at least, for maybe a few scattered showers first thing in the morning. I think it's a very outside chance of a few showers in the morning hours. It's really not till we get to the afternoon again that we start to see some cloud building in, maybe some scattered showers through Windsor, through Chatham-Kent. Into Toronto, we don't see that chance through later into the evening hours, where we could see a few rumbles of thunder isolated in nature as we get into the early evening hours into Friday. Into Saturday, mainly sunny skies once again, another kind of carbon copy, mostly sunny, some clouds, with the chance of an isolated thunderstorm, and that's kind of the pattern that we get for the next few days here at least. Rainfall accumulations, I wanted to show you this, really not much by the time we get to Friday supper time. Could see some higher accumulations, especially if you get caught in one of these scattered thunderstorms or some of these isolated downpours. So just kind of keep your eye on the sky. By and large, though, just a couple of millimeters here and there, some scattered showers throughout the region as we head into the weekend. 20 in Windsor overnight tonight. Chancellor will see a couple of showers overnight tonight. 19 Sir Hamilton, Toronto, 18 in Kingston, and we're looking at temperatures into the high 20s again, or into the high 20s, approaching 30 even as we get into the day on Friday. Mostly sunny skies. Best chance of some thunderstorms, kind of Barrie, Kitchener down through Sarnia, through Cottage Country as well. 24 by the water in Toronto, but we do warm up closer to that 30-degree mark once again inland tomorrow. UV index 9 are very high. Sunscreen, sunglasses, a hat, and make sure you find lots of water tomorrow as well. And we're looking at temperatures really similar, seasonal as we get through the weekend, Kelda, and our next chance of some showers comes your way on Tuesday.
Right, thanks so much, Riley. Finally tonight, seeing aurora lights from anywhere on Earth is spectacular enough, but it's hard to top a view from 400 kilometers above it. This is the aurora in profile, recorded from the International Space Station. The time-lapse video shows a snaking green line parallel to the surface of the Earth. The solar activity that ignites the auroras is especially intense right now, reaching the apex this year of an 11-year cycle. And that is our show for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you back here tomorrow at 6. Have a great night, everyone.